Today on the channel, we're talking Jakks Classic Superstars, the creme de la creme, the very rare employee special editions. Welcome everyone, Kyle here, and welcome back to the channel as we continue our weekly deep dive into the Jakks Classic Superstars series by series, line by line. We're doing them all on the channel as you guys have seen. If this is your first time to the channel, make sure you subscribe, hit the old notification bell. Once this video is all said and done, you give it the old like, the old thumbs up, and retweet it, all that kind of fun stuff out there as well. But you guys have known we've been going through all the series. We've done the single cards, the 2-packs, the 3-packs, some of the miscellaneous stuff. Right now, we're currently deep into the super rare exclusive items, and that's where we're turning our attention to today. Some of the Jakks employee exclusives. And a quick shout out at the beginning, very similar to the 1 of 100 videos. Scott McGowan, follow him on Twitter. I'll put the link in the description here. He helped me with some of these pictures here, as he does own a few of these. And also WrestlingFigureDatabase.com, your one-stop shop for a huge checklist of wrestling stuff with pictures, everything else. I was happy to help with some of the Jakks stuff for those guys, but that's a fantastic site that I wish was around just a couple of years ago, or forever. It's a great site. It's a great checklist. You can just check everything off right there. But just an exciting video today. But one, I got to tell you right up front, guess what, guys? I don't own any of these. I don't think I will own any of these. I'm just not in the mood to spend, $10, $12, $15,000 on action figures. As much as I love wrestling figures, especially there's a few on here I want. 3 of the 4 here. Actually, I love all 4 of these characters we're going to talk about today, so I can't even say that. I would love to own any of these, but yeah, my wallet is not prepared to buy these, and it's just, I could never justify this to myself, unfortunately, with the prices these are these days, and I guarantee 99.999% of you are in the same boat as I am with these. But let's kick it off. Let's talk about it. These are Jakks employee exclusives in the Classic Superstars line. Now, we all know about the traditional stuff that's out there at retail. Then you get your Ringside Collectible exclusive, your Ringside Fest exclusives, Kmart exclusives. We understand that. And then it gets a little harder to wrap our head around sometimes. Toy Fair exclusives. These are out at the Toy Fair shows. 1 of 100s, extremely rare. Well, we're just taking it to a next level. We're going to the super rare, the stuff that was only made internally at Jakks, that were given to, obviously, Jeremy Padower. I'm sure he probably has one of each of these. He was the head of the Classic Superstars line. And then Jakks associates out there. I don't know who they deemed was worthy to get one of these. I gotta think it's some of the top people, the presidents, the vice presidents, stuff like that. And that's where these figures went. Now, how do these figures get out to retail? Well, like anything else out there, these executives, whoever they are that got these, said, you know what? I wonder if this is worth some money. I'm going to put this up on eBay. I'm going to sell this in a wrestling group. Or I got a friend, I don't want to be looked back to me. I don't want Jakks, because, these things don't come up very often. They're very limited. And what happens a lot is, hey, I'll find a friend or a friend of mine. I'll have them sell it on eBay or sell it through whatever means, so it doesn't come back to me that I'm the guy that sold one of these rare giveaway items from my company. And, it's not, I don't know if shady is the right word, but you don't want to be linked back to that, especially when this is your finance, your career, and all that. You don't want that back, because you got to be honest, and I've dealt with this. I've talked about this on the channel before. I've dealt with Target buyers. I've dealt with Walmart buyers in their corporate offices in Minnesota and Bentonville, Arkansas. I've been there. I've seen it. And guess what? All buyers of toys, they're not necessarily collectors. And that same thing goes for people that work at Jakks or Mattel or something like that. You want to believe that everybody that works for a toy company is passionate about toys. They're like you, they're like me. That's just not the case. Think of your job. Let's say you're working at a construction company or whatever. That's the first thing that popped in my head. Yeah, you like construction, you like building houses and stuff, you know how to do it. But is that the dream job of a guy working on a construction crew? Is that the dream job of a guy managing a grocery store? Most time it's not. They stumbled into it, they found it, the job was open, they got it. Very few of us, and it's unfortunate, have our dream jobs out there. I enjoy my job every day. If you don't have passion for your job, I got a lot of passion for my job. You should see me wheeling and dealing on a daily basis. But I have a lot of passion for it. I love my job. I'm thankful for my job. Hopefully you guys are as well. Your job's got to give you some fulfillment. As annoying as they are out there and stuff like that, you got to get some fulfillment from your job, or else it's going to be a miserable life. And if you're not happy or happy enough, you better move on to something else. But when you go to Jakks, or it could be any toy company, like I said, there's people up there that get free things like this that you won't believe it. They could care less about it. And that's the people that sell it. Or can you imagine this? And I guarantee this has happened. I haven't heard any firsthand stories, but I know these kind of things have to happen. You get these 1 of 20s, 1 of 3s, 1 of 5s, whatever. These guys get it. These executives, maybe they're 60-some years old, and hey, I don't know anything about toys. I'm here to move toys. I'm here to sell toys. I don't know wrestling. I don't know wrestling history. I don't know anything about wrestling. I just run a toy company. Well, guess what? They have grandkids. Oh, I got this toy. Here you go, little Jimmy. You can have this. Open it up, play with it. So there's a 1 of 20 Ric Flair that just gets tore open by a kid. He's playing with it. Doesn't know anything else about it. And I guarantee that's happened. Maybe not with these 4 we're going to talk about today, but I could easily see that with some of the 1 of 100s that some of these guys pick up at the toy fairs and stuff like that. Prototypes out there. Just a lot of stuff like that. That's just the way I'm guessing it goes. So can you just imagine some little kid just ripping up this priceless figure they only made 20 of, and he's tearing it up, beating it around, all that kind of stuff. I guarantee it's happened out there. So it's an interesting dynamic, and it goes for a lot of industries. You know, insurance company industries, you get a lot of swag, you get stuff. The food industry, which I'm way familiar with, there's swag, there's new product, there's new lines. I wish I could do a deep dive video about the food industry. I think you guys would find it just absolutely fascinating. I just don't know if that'd be good for my, I can't give away my secrets, I guess I should say. But I think some of the stuff that goes on in the world, you guys would just blow your mind how things operate and how they go with different retailers and stuff like that. Maybe one day when I'm retired, I'll shift focus and do a weekly crazy YouTube video. It would just blow everybody's mind. But that's neither here nor there. But let's jump into it. Let's talk about these super rare Jakks Class Superstars figures. We set the table, we set it up. Now let's talk about the figures. And we're going to start it off with a 1 of 25 from 2005. Ah, 2005. What a time to be alive, 16 years ago. Young Kyle, just freshly getting out of college, trying to figure out what he wanted to do with his life, trying to say, how am I going to afford this Jakks Classic Superstars series? Kyle, he's out of college. He used to work at a grocery store during college, stuff like that. Now he's making $8.50 an hour out of college. How am I making less money than I made in college? I don't know, but I figured it out. I climbed and crawled and got my resume out there and worked my way through, and I did somehow find enough money left over after my bills were paid to collect the Class Superstars line. But I remember when this bad boy was announced, and we're talking about the 1 of 25 Jakks Class Superstar, employee exclusive, Nature Boy Ric Flair. Yes, Ric Flair, no stranger to the Jakks Class Superstars lineup, and this one is one of the creme de la cremes out there. This is his rarest figure of all time, I'm pretty sure. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything rarer than this. Beautiful white robe with this one, just absolutely stunning with the feathers at the handkerchiefs, handcuff, cufflinks. Just the white packaging. You got the gold foil sticker like we saw with many exclusives over the years from Jakks Class Superstar. I believe this is reused from the Best of WCW Ruthless Aggression series. Ric Flair head. White boots. Just Ric Flair in white is what this is. And super rare. Super rare. Nobody has these really out there except our buddy Scott McGowan, which I mentioned him. That's where I'm getting some of these pictures from. But this one recently sold on eBay, I don't know, a month ago, 2 months ago. Let's just call it summer of 2021. This sold on eBay. I think it was $12,000 this one sold for, roughly in that ballpark. So this is a pricey figure out of everybody's price range. If I had $12,000 for a figure, I couldn't pay one figure $12,000. As much as I would love to have all of these, I just don't know if I'd ever, unless I won the lottery or I was a millionaire or something like that. Obviously, that's a different story, but I just could never justify owning this one. For me, but man, is it cool, especially Ric Flair. He's on my Mount Rushmore. I'm probably on a lot of Mount Rushmores for you. And it just, I don't like the idea of never being able to own some of these things, and I get it. There's all kinds of different opinions from collectors. To me, how I want my toys and action figures, I love that they're worth money and stuff, but I'm here for the fun of it and all that. I truly believe, I wish everything was available to everybody. There's got to be a window of availability. You should be able to hunt it in the stores for 2 months, order it online for a couple of months. And then guess what? You missed it, you have to pay up, it goes up in value. But things like these were out of grass for 100% of us basically out there. We had no chance of getting these. So it's just a little defeating when you're trying to be a completist. It just makes things tough. And like I said in previous videos, I think we'll see a lot of this with AEW figures in the future. So be prepared for that. You know, if you don't know your history, you're doomed to repeat it, I believe they say. But this Ric Flair is very solid. And it's very interesting too is the back of the packaging on this one is a little cutout box. This is the only time they've done that in the Classic Superstars line. This was obviously very early in the Classics line. But it has a window box in the back to show off the beautiful robe Ric Flair comes with here. So truly a one-off, one-of-a-kind figure in the Classic Superstars line, this Ric Flair. Just absolutely phenomenal, gorgeous figure. Unfortunately, we'll never own it for the most part. So there you go. But 2005 Jakks Employee Special Edition. Quite the figure, that is for sure. So now let's turn our attention to another one that I kind of have. Kind of, not really, but we know about Roddy Piper. We talked about the 1 of 100 in a previous video a couple weeks ago. We talked about the 1 of 100 Roddy Piper exclusive, and I do have that, of course. So you guys have seen this before. We know it, we love it, we love this Piper figure. The gloves are a little interesting, but they also did at the same time of the 1 of 100 release here, they did a 1 of 20. So even rarer than the Ric Flair, they did a 1 of 20 Roddy Piper. And really the only difference between the two is the 1 of 20 Roddy Piper comes with the gold gloves instead of the red. Not a ton of meat on the bone as far as difference, but different enough. You look at the package, you say, oh, that is different. Oh, this is 1 of 20. Extremely rare figure as well, as you can imagine, even rarer than the Ric Flair. I just wonder how many of these are actually in circulation, how many of these were not destroyed by a little kid or something like that. And, you know, the hard part about 1 of 100s especially, and then you go down to the 1 of 20s, 1 of 25s, stuff like that, they're not going to come up very long because they got bought up by the hardest of hardcore collectors, and guess what? They're not selling. So these things don't come up on a regular basis. As you'd imagine, there's only a few. There's only 20 Pipers. You don't see this one come up very often. So it's a very, very rare one. Very possibly is, just like Ric Flair, the rarest Roddy Piper figure of all time. If I had a gun to my head, choose between the Flair and the Piper, I'm taking Flair all day. It's such a different figure than this one. But that's just me, even though the Flair has 5 more made than the Piper. And like I said, that goes back to not always about value for me. It's about what figure I like the best. So Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, 2 heavy hitters, 2 of my all-time favorites, as you guys know that watch the channel, evolved in this 1 of 20, 1 of 25, and so on. Very rare Jakks Classic Superstars. So there's Roddy Piper. Then we turn our attention to another 1 of 20. We turn our attention to a man that's on the lips of many collectors right now, and that is Sergeant Slaughter. Sergeant Slaughter, once again, no stranger to exclusives. We've just seen it in the last few weeks. San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Ultimate Edition sold out in 3-4 minutes. And Sergeant Slaughter, it is truly the year of Sergeant Slaughter. 2021, who'd have thought? He might not know who a Nemesis Enforcer is, but he knows his action figures. We're getting the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive, Masters of the WWE Universe exclusive, based kind of on Man-at-Arms, which I think is a solid idea. And then we're getting 2 G.I. Joe-inspired Valaverse figures coming from him. It sounds like the newest, or the first one got delayed till November of 2021, so it looks like the second one will be in 2022. But 2 figures from that line. And then in Elite 89, I want to say it is from Mattel, we're getting the Iraqi sympathizer Sergeant Slaughter. And this one as well is the Sergeant Slaughter Rule Breaker Sergeant Slaughter. And I never quite understood what Rule Breaker Sergeant Slaughter means, but this is the 1 of 20 version. There was a 1 of 100 version, which we did talk about in a prior video, but I don't know why they called him Rule Breaker. I never really understood this figure. I don't know if it's supposed to be from some of the early vignettes of the Iraqi conflict when he was switching over to that, or if this goes back to heel Slaughter when he was just starting out, before he was kind of the American hero. He did have a heel run in there. But yeah, it's an interesting figure, and out of the 4 extremely rare ones we're talking about, this is probably my least favorite of the bunch. But out of all 4, I love all 4 of these characters, and Sergeant Slaughter is a lot bigger to me than maybe some of you out there, just because I have such a love for G.I. Joe. G.I. Joe and wrestling were my childhood favorites. So he crossed between the 2. So that makes him rise above a lot of people, where if I was just wrestling or just G.I. Joe, maybe he wouldn't be as popular in my mind. I know there's a lot of 80s kids out there that view it the exact same way as me with Sergeant Slaughter. But Sergeant Slaughter, 1 of 20, very rare, as you guys can imagine. Just the same rareness of Piper, 5 behind the Ric Flair. Ric Flair was 1 of 25. But then it's time. It's time to talk about the number 1 on this list, the one I would want the most, the one unfortunately I'll never have, and we're talking about Ultimate Warrior Jakks Class Superstar exclusive. We talked about the 1 of 100 a couple of weeks ago. Now we're talking about the 1 of 3. Yes, 1 of 3. Ouch. No chance on this one. This one came out in 2005, the same year as Ric Flair, really kicking off the Jakks Classic Superstars line with some thunder and stuff like that. And this Employee Special Edition Ultimate Warrior, 1 of 3. I have to think Ultimate Warrior has one of these or had one of these. And he has the prototype or something, because Warrior was a smart businessman, and we might do it next week. There is a bunch of Jakks Class Superstars Ultimate Warrior figures that were made just for Ultimate Warrior. That's a video we'll do in itself. That's going to be a fun one. But this is a 1 of 3, and I have to think Warrior had one of these 3. So that leaves 2. I almost think Jeremy Padawer has one. I don't know if Matt Cardona has one of these or not. For some reason I was thinking he does, but I might be confused with the Warrior America Ring Giant. But I know he's a high-end player on some of these. I know he has some of these figures, the Ric Flair included. So lucky him. Lucky him. Maybe he'll invite me over someday and I can see him in person. There you go. But Jakks Class Superstars Ultimate Warrior. I mean, this is a rehash of the first Ultimate Warrior from Classic Superstars, but he is in his red, white, and blue uniform. Red, white, and blue face paint. I mean, it's an all-American on Ultimate Warrior. This belongs on a top 10 list for sure of patriotic figures. You guys know I did a Patriotic Wrestlers top 5. 4th of July week to celebrate the 4th of July. This Ultimate Warrior wasn't on the list, the top 5, but I'm pretty sure he'd be in my top 10. And talk about a grail piece. Only nitpick I have with this, and barely a nitpick, is the title belt really takes away from this. It's just such a goofy title belt. Some of those Jakks title belts, as we talked about, are just absolute hot garbage. But talk about a awesome figure. Talk about rarefied air, a 1 of 3. Who knows where those 3 are? Like I said, I thought Matt Cardona maybe had one. I got to think Ultimate Warrior has one. Maybe Jeremy Padawer has the other one. I'm pretty sure Jeremy has one of these, actually. So I don't know. It's not hard to track down who has these, I think. There's only 3. So I have seen this come up over the years as really bad customs that have tried to trick people and stuff. And I know people have said, oh, how's this possible? How's this out there? And like anything, bootlegs, stuff like that, people trying to redo them. But I think if you look close enough, you can always tell if it's the real deal or not. And once again, like these other 3, this doesn't come up. I don't think I've ever seen this come up for sale. I could be wrong. I remember one of the Rare Warriors coming up for sale, but I might be confusing it with the Ring Giant version of this. They did a Ring Giant Classic Superstars in the Mr. America Ultimate Warrior gear, garb, whatever you want to call it. I might be confused with that, but talk about rarefied air, like I said. So these are 4 of the Classic Superstars rarefied air ones, the ones you don't see. A lot of people don't know about them. A lot didn't know it existed. A lot didn't know the history of these figures. And I'm sure there's much more to be written in the future, and maybe they'll come up for sale one day. If you're a buyer, I'm sure you can put some feelers out, and if you got some big cash ready to throw around, money talks, as they say. Everything truly is for sale at the end of the day. So you just never know how that might shake out. But there it is, Jakks Class Superstars, the rarest of the rare, the Employee Special Editions. I hope you enjoy this kind of discussion about this with a few oddball comments in there as well. But very cool stuff right here, and hopefully one day if you really want one of these, hopefully you get one. And Scott McGowan helped us out with this and Wrestling Figure Database as well for some of the pictures in this video. So thank them again. Make sure you're following them and checking them out in your quest of the interwebs, as they say. But give me your comments below. Let me know your thoughts about these super rare ones. Any thoughts on these? Anything I missed out there? Any other memories from these? Do you own one of these? That would be something if one of you guys did. I'd like your autograph. But give me your comments down below. Don't forget to follow me on social media at SirPaul64 on Twitter, _Kyle_Peterson on Instagram. Of course, Pro Wrestling Tees. Search Kyle Peterson. Get your very own Kyle Peterson t-shirt, and then make sure you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, as we're going to be back with some more exclusives next week. So for the Jakks Classic Superstars Employee Editions, I'm Kyle. See you guys all real soon.